And so having that experience with that gentleman that if you saw him on the street, you never would have realized that he was such a lovely, kind person, because we all make those fast assumptions. Like, how has that changed in how you lead and train and interact with folks?
That is a great question. Ultimately, as a leader, I think you need to approach everyone with a certain level of respect for them as a person and a humility, knowing that you don't know about their life. You don't know where they're coming from. You don't know their background. And just try to find a way to connect with them, to build a foundation of trust and go from there. Because what I've found is people will surprise you. They really will. And I have seen people be successful that on the face of it, when they first got started, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if you're going to make it. I had one gentleman in a training class early in my career. So I did, after I was on the phones for not quite a year, I moved into training, and I trained new hires for a number of years. And I had this one guy, I mentioned it was supporting one of the big three telecoms, right? Cell phones. And this was, the era of the smartphone had been around for a little bit, right? So you're talking about the time when iPhone 4 was coming out, that period. If you think back to then, this guy was still rocking a flip phone. He was a little bit older, and I really had concerns about whether or not he was going to be able to learn what he needed to learn fast enough to be able to do the job and do it well. But I spent extra time with him. He was super eager. And so I just did everything I could to help him, despite my concerns that, I didn't know if he was cut out for it. And he struggled early on. He absolutely struggled. But you know what? Before the year was out, he was one of the top 10 agents on the floor. And that, while it took him longer to get there, his focus and his determination and his willingness to learn and to move through adversity, his grit to move through adversity, he just kept getting better and better and better. And before you knew it, he was a rock star. And one of the things that I took away from that, a lesson that I took away from that, was not to be too quick to judge how people will perform. It is incredibly important for any business to manage performance. And there are going to be times where you have to say, you know what, you're not living up to expectations. And at some point, it may not be a good fit. At the same time, you have to be careful in making sure that you give people enough time to really show you what they can do. And that just taught me not to be too quick to judge how people would perform. I think that is one of the biggest lessons that I learned from a leadership standpoint, from a training standpoint. And it's a constant reminder that we can all surprise ourselves and surprise the people around us.